This is Gabriel Gonzalez for Cage Side Press. I'm here with the newly signed UFC heavyweight, Jared Vanderaa. Am I saying it right? Did I say it wrong the last time? I feel horrible, Jared.
I'm so used to people saying it wrong that it doesn't click that someone says it wrong anymore.
How is it said correctly? Because the extra A is throwing everyone off.
I don't know how it throws everyone off. I don't know, Vanderaa, it's Vanderaa or Vanderaa A. Those are maybe the only two ways I could see it being pronounced. And then people are like Vanderaa. I'm like,
I let the A carry, which I did when we did your interview in the cage, pre-UFC, which made me feel horrible now because I'm like, dude, this guy just won our belt and I totally butchered it. I'm sorry, man.
no, if my father says it differently than I do.
Okay.
And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, well, my father wasn't in there for the first 16 years, so my way sticks.
You know what? I totally get that. Let's talk about it. So let's go back a minute because I did one of the best interviews, I think, of Contender Series this year, and it was with you. And you told me you're not Francis, you're not about to go out there and sleep him in the first round. And what happened, buddy? That's exactly what you did. And you didn't think it would happen.
I didn't do this.
Okay, fair enough.
Francis just... yeah, kept my promise. It's one, first of all, a change of opponent kind of changed things around. Okay, I was expecting to play chess, got playing tic-tac-toe. Alright, different strategy, two different games. My opponent, Harry, he was came out just swinging for the fences. And, I was expecting a guy that was trying to be a little bit more technical, a little bit more sharper. So I was like, oh, shit, ah! It kind of took me by surprise, that first major blitz that he had. He had something going. But for the most part, a lot of the did that to you. I was like, after the fight, I'm like, contract, and this hickey was, I swear, from this guy.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Was bad.
Well, you know what, look, you got the job done. Alright, we're doing good there. Let's continue, because, okay, you get on the microphone, and let's be honest, I felt like I was watching a band go big time before my eyes. You are yourself, and you were yourself when you spoke to Dana and when you spoke to Lorosenko, and people could not get enough of it. Everybody loved listening to you talk, man. I know people have been tagging you and, social medias. You have to have gotten a lot of attention. What's that whole experience been like?
It's weird. Okay, one, I know I have I have a speech problem. I slur my words like I'm a drunk. That's not because I'm punch drunk. It's just something I failed to do growing up. I can articulate my sentences, but I cannot speak them properly, and it just sounds like blah, 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 blah. I'm sure listening to this podcast, you'll hear me speaking, you're just like, what the hell did he say? It's like, someone get him a translator. I could get that part, and that's why I'm just so confused, why do people like what I said? I'm like, okay, this is weird. No one's ever, been, yeah, Jared, keep talking. That strong suit right there. They're like, hey, Jared, shut it. No one could understand you. I don't know if it was just because, maybe my humor is a little different, I guess. And I mean, I'm sure you kind of saw that I had to control myself a little bit. It's I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but I call out people. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to call out one person, maybe two, maybe throw, some words to another person and just call it a night.
And it's like you called out the perfect person because they immediately book you for it. I mean, your contract is barely dried up. I mean, I gotta ask you, we found out about it a few days ago. At what point did they call you to say, yeah, Spivak is in?
The next day. So
really?
I drive home because Vegas to Hemet is what, 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
You know that it's not a crazy drive.
Right.
Because they told us we had to stay in a hotel, and I'm just like, I'd rather go home. See my family. So we drove home. I woke up, and I want to say it was around like maybe noon, maybe a little bit later. My manager was like, "Yo, I will have a contract for you tomorrow against Sergey." I'm like, "When?" It's like December 12th. I'm like, "All right." Lauren's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're out of camp. Like, we can spend time together." I'll break your heart right now. No, we're not. December 12th, another fight. She was like, "Are you fucking kidding me, Jared? Like, you just got the 18-week camp, and now I had to deal with another 5-week camp." I'm like, "It's at least 5 weeks."
You're not out of the house long.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, you know what? So I gotta ask. So right, fresh out of the Contender Series Tuesday, you took a shower and you drove straight home same night.
yeah. It was Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta ask. I think most guys is like, don't get me wrong. You do want to get home, but I mean, you took the guy out in the first round. You got signed immediately to the UFC. Some people, even if it's at the hotel, they would want to live it up a bit. Did you ever feel like, you know what? Get me some drinks. Give me some food. Give me something. Let's enjoy this.
Wanted to, but I don't like spending money to like have fun that much.
Okay.
Weirdly, like I love my coaches, and we've had fun. But it's just one of those times where I was like, you know what, we can have fun later. And it was just one of those things where I know my Jamal, he wanted to do some training, and he had family down in Vegas, and he was like, yeah. I'm like, you know what, go see them. Me and Zach would just head home. I was like, plus, I don't want to order food, wait for food, and then try to find a restaurant that happens to be open until like 10 o'clock at night, because it's going to take us an hour to figure out what the hell we want. I'm like, let's just go home. I could I could shower up and just drive home. I mean, I've kind of done that a lot with like the Smash Global fights. I'm just like, because LA is about roughly 2 hours from here,
Yeah.
and then traffic. Let's be real here. Traffic can make a hour and a half, 2 hour drive to like 5, 6 hour drive.
Oh yeah.
And like my title fight there, like the drive home was like almost 3 hours. So I was just like, yeah, we hit traffic that night. I'm
Yeah.
just like, do it. But it was a clean shot. It was only like 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah. Middle of the night, you just fly through.
Yeah, and I was going a little. I was speeding a little bit.
No, you're good. You're good. But no, I mean, so very interesting. I'll say this. You know why I think it worked out, and it's something I know you do want to call someone out. But I think of all the people, like, yeah, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna get myself out there. And there was no doubt that you're just kind of saying what's on your mind. Not that everyone isn't, but I almost feel like, guys, it's like, let me make sure to say that when I get on the mic. You were clearly saying exactly what you're feeling, and I think that that was very refreshing, and I think that's why a lot of people loved it. And let's be honest, you called out the perfect guy. I haven't seen any interviews. Has he tagged you or messaged you on social media about, you know what, you wanted it, tall guy, let's bring it?
No, I mean, like, I really didn't say anything negative about him as a person. I still haven't yet, because as a person, I really don't know. The only thing I said about him, and this is factual on my end, is that we were scheduled to fight in, I think, 2018,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 2017, around that time,
Okay.
that, I was scheduled to fight him, and I wanted to fight him. He pulled out. I don't know if it's him or his coaches or his manager. I don't know if they're like, hey, you take this fight, it's going to be a tougher fight. But if you take these fights, they're easier and a higher chance of you getting to the UFC. And if those are like the two reasons, like his manager and his coaches were trying to make sure he gets into the UFC, I really don't begrudge him at all. Now, if he chose to like, no, I don't want to fight him, then that's where like I would have some animosity towards him. But from what it sounds like, how quickly he was like, yeah, let's do this. Go. Well, I mean, it worked out very well to my advantage.
Out of curiosity, was that one a Smash Global fight, or was that LFA or somewhere else?
It was for one. It was for his belt in Ukraine.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Well, I mean, let's talk about Sergey a little bit, man. I mean, obviously you've had to prep for him a little bit. You're familiar with him a bit. I mean, what is it about his game that you see that, just break him down as an opponent?
Like he has that judo sambo style. I have a lot. I've had a few training partners that were judo. I have definitely a lot of training partners that were Greco, like Dan Henderson, Greco. Yeah. Uh, that alone, I feel like with those two styles, I could at least handle them on the takedowns and stuff like that. Then I could also do the after the takedowns and stuff. I think my striking might be a little bit better, but I have no clue.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, look, I mean, it's gonna be a good one. I wanted to ask, going back to your victory. I mean, obviously, a lot of your team must have been ecstatic. I know Dominic Reyes shouted you out on Twitter, and I'm sure he messaged you privately. I mean, what was the reaction? Dan Henderson, Sam Alvey, what was everybody saying?
Uh, just Dan. I think every time we were supposed to talk, like something came up, like he got called away, I got called for an interview. So like we've seen him. He's kind of giving the nod, like I'm proud, but like for some reason we just been like not crossing each other's path, right? Not to talk like, but everyone else is kind of just giving me a shout out. I went in the gym Monday to work out and get ready for the camp. Joe had jiu-jitsu class stopped cheering for me. Me and my daughter were walking in. We turned out and walked out for a couple seconds. Like, nope, nope. I don't know. I don't like people cheering like the fact that I'm in the UFC. It's just one of those things where like half the reason why it was easy for me to not celebrate this fight was I felt like I belonged there for a while now. So going into that, like I don't really need to celebrate. Like I should have been here a while ago. And then I just like I get people that like the support and like they want to do the cheering and stuff, but I've just never been that guy. It's like I don't want to be that guy where you do something you work so hard for and to like there's always a time and place though for it. Like you always have to encourage your teammates and stuff like, hey, dude, you got this. But you'll never hear me going, "Oh my God, you got this! Or you did, yeah!" I'll be like, "Hey, good shit. Now on to the next one." Like I'll be that person to push, but I like cheering you on in the background, like, "Oh my God, yeah!" No, not happening.
All
And
right.
I've never been that guy. Like I said, I like my negative reinforcement way more than positive, just because I don't know. Like I'm just like, why are you so happy for me? It's like I'm like, let me be happy for me. Like, let me keep that to myself. You just be over there. It's a weird set of emotions that I have.
Well, I remember, I hope I did my part the last time, and I made sure to share it, and I made sure to remind people, remember, he asked me to do this. This is me helping him, telling him he's gonna have a boring fight. So I said, you know what, I think everyone works it in their own way. I definitely get what you're saying, and I think a lot of people can understand where you're coming from. I do gotta ask you though, man, because I know last year, I know first off, 2019, you had that weird end to the year, one loss, then you claimed the title at Smash Global where we know each other. Then, 2020, COVID kind of shook around your matchups, and you talked a bit about, you had a bit of issues with management at the time and just making things work out. I mean, this is quite the turnaround. You kind of had, you had all that happen, and now new kid on the block in the UFC. I mean, I know what you're saying. It's like you felt like you should have been here, but is there a relief? Is there, are you gonna turn off the camera and be like, man, I do feel good. Thank you, Gabriel. How do you
No,
feel?
no, it's like I feel like there's more stress now. It's like, all right, well, now you're in the UFC. I can't take, like I know a lot of fighters that, oh, I'm in the UFC. I don't have to train as hard, or I don't have to do this and that. And I'm just like, no, I'll be in the gym constantly, but now I have to be in the gym constantly as normal. But I gotta make sure I'm doing better than time. I gotta make sure I'm doing better, training harder, smarter, all that, where I'm going into a fight even more prepared than I did last time. Because I'm not like the goal wasn't to get into the UFC. That was part of the goal. Part one, get into the UFC. Part two, get in the top 15. Part three, top five, then eventually the championship. Like that's the goal. And like get the get it, hold the title, and then yeah, eventually retire. Now I know that's everyone's goal, but at the same time, it's like I have to view it in parts, not just. So I got to part A. I got to celebrate a little bit with some family and friends, but this part A, it's a small part to a bigger picture. And like a lot of people just look at, oh, you're in the UFC. Okay, cool. It's like looking at someone in the NFL. You look at someone like, oh, you're in the NFL. All right, that's cool and all, but are you going to be able to stay in the NFL? My plan is to stay in the UFC and go from there. Like I don't want to just be that guy that like, oh, I made it to the UFC, 3-5 losing streak, out. I want to be like, oh shit, this guy is here to stay. He's winging it and taking fights, doing what he needs to do. And I get like 4 or 5 contracts in with the UFC, and it's like, hey, we're gonna be offering you a lot of money. Boom, boom, boom. Have a nice day. That's the plan.
I get you. I get what you're saying. My final question on that, you talk about it, a little bit, and you touched on it, your family a little bit. I mean, one, I found it funny. You did talk about it's like I have kids. I hope they take after their mom. Found that very hilarious. But you know what? Look, you post about her a lot. You're very, great relationship with your wife, and I know you got a lovely daughter. I mean, does it ever feel, I guess, you talked about it, you're constantly in the gym, that's part of the job, but being in the UFC, is it tough because you feel like, it's hard to say, like, hey, this is part of the job, I need to go work out, when I'm sure your family does also want you there, and now you're going to be spending even less time because you do got to get on the grind because people want that spot.
But yeah, no. The good thing is she's a late sleeper, and I train uh, early mornings for the most part. And then we own Team Quest Athletic Center, so in the evenings we're together. Like honestly, if it's not for the mornings, we are usually together 24/7. I mean, we definitely had a bumpy road in our relationship this year, but I mean, honestly, like anything if you really wanted to work out, you're gonna have to, suck it up and do things right. So I mean, I wanted to make sure we do right, and so I had to get that focused while training in camp and all that stuff. So I was hit with a bunch of emotions, but we're doing good. And the one thing is I am with my best friend constantly, and we never get annoyed with each other. And if we usually are annoyed with each other, we just send the kid after each other. I'm like, hey, baby girl, get your like punch her in the face, choke her, lick her. I don't care. I'm mad at her right now. Lick her in the face. That'll ruin her night. Um,
That's hilarious.
but for the most part, things are
Do,
good.
does she ever get on you like, Jared, you're late for practice, I'm already here, get off
No,
the couch?
because no, I like to be here a little bit earlier just to kind of get things together because Lauren and I are the least cleanliest humans alive, so we try to like be cleanly professionally because personally we need to hire a maid and badly. Like we're like, oh, cleaning, oh, that's stupid. Like I always call my mom like, hey mom, you love me, right? You own a lot. You want to help clean that? Hang out with your granddaughter. And she's like, yeah, I guess. Like my mom came down this weekend just to help me clean. I'm like, mom, I need your help. It's too much for me. It was like that is the one thing I just hate doing is cleaning, and so does Lauren. So that's our biggest vice is cleanliness.
You know
But
what? Hearing that, you clearly found your soulmate, man. That makes me happy on a personal level. It is true love can be found in MMA.
for some reason, my daughter is the cleanest, dirtiest person you know. Like, she sees a mess, she'll get like, she'll like find a spray bottle, and you're just like, where did you get that? Squirt, squirt. I'm like, hmm. I was like, you get this from your other grandma. And then, but then she'll leave wrappers and stuff. I'm like,
Nope,
yeah,
still mine.
yeah.
Uh,
Right now, though, I do want to throw my daughter away a little bit more lately. It's that terrible threes.
uh,
Every terrible twos. No, it's the torturous threes. I'm just like, oh, I remember this sucking when I was raising my brother. I was like, you suck even more.
well, you know what? You can always say it's like, oh, sorry, babe. Gotta go train. Big fight coming up. Coach
Doesn't
wants to go over it. Doesn't
nope.
believe you.
Because at Dan's they have a daycare center, and
Oh,
our daughter loves the lady Katie. She's like, oh my god, we get to see Katie, and her mom would be like, yeah, she get to see Katie. I'm just like, this is why no one loves you.
oh, that's hilarious. Man, you know what? Well, best of luck handling that. Oh, the final one. I mean, okay, let me do my part. Jared, I hope you have a very boring UFC debut. I hope they start asking why did Dana pick him up, back in October? Why did they, give him the roster spot? Because if that worked the first time, I hope this gets you a first round finish. But let me ask you, how do you see yourself beating Sergey in a couple weeks?
I feel like he's a lot tougher than maybe a lot of people have seen. So I'm expecting possibly. For some reason, I feel like it could easily be a finish. I could see it being finished. Realistically, I think he has a skill set to do so the same to me. But I wouldn't be dumbfounded if you could see us going to a 3 round war. I think he's good enough to do so, and I think he's capable of doing so. So for me to think, oh, this is gonna be an easy fight, that should be very foolish of me. He's 2-2 in the UFC, and that some. So I definitely think that I could beat him, but I think he has the tools to do so. But my guess is a flying armbar first round.
You know
Yeah,
what?
flying.
I am ready for this. Guy tall like you going for that. I can't wait to see that on SportsCenter. You know
Yeah,
what? Jared, always a pleasure, man. Once again, congratulations. It's just great to see one of the guys who are, seen on the local circuit make it to that breakthrough. So it's great to see that happening for you, and I can't wait for this one, in December. Good luck, man.